I feel like I just lost 100 pounds. I really do.
How's it going, everybody? Here's an update video I wasn't expecting to make for a very long time, but something so critical happened that I had to immediately make one just to let everyone know what was happening. One of my most recent documentaries that I've made on this channel was on XioTheDreamer, one of the nicest people we've ever came across, or at least on my channel that we've ever covered. It's not to say that Xio has the best habits in the world or that she's the best of person, but out of most of the people that I cover, Xio is by far one of the best. We could all understand that Xio had many problems and wasn't trying to help herself. She has been in the hospital for over a year at this point, and seemingly she is not trying to help herself at all. She continues to DoorDash, buy as much food as she possibly can, and eat for her crowd of TikTok live stream viewers. It's a never-ending cycle, and in between those sessions, XioTheDreamer will get on live stream, or at least get on video call, and start crying about the situation she's in, pretending that she has no idea why she's there. And after multiple surgeries, multiple family visits where they're begging you to get better, after multiple videos where you say, I'm crying, this is the final time I can do this, I'm gonna change my life, I'm gonna delete the DoorDash apps, I'm gonna delete Uber Eats, but she never does. She continues to live in this perpetual cycle of non-stop eating, and now it's finally caught up with her. We had seen that she was in the hospital, and we knew time was ticking, but little did we know it wasn't necessarily how we thought it could end up, because XioTheDreamer lost her insurance. She no longer can get PT, and if you remember, Xio can no longer feel anything in her left arm and her right leg. Now I might have that reversed, but either way she only has feeling in one arm and one leg. She hasn't quite recovered from it. Xio could barely walk, or at least by the time we had covered her, she had taken one step that was assisted. She had a long ways to go, and in just a short amount of time with very little progress since then, Xio can no longer achieve that PT. The most she can do is do bed exercises herself or try to wander around the facility. At the moment, it's not looking good. We thought Xio was trapped in the hospital beforehand, but now it's literally 10 times worse. Where can she go? She only has a limited amount of income. She only does so much social media because of the position that she's in, and unless she has a family member who's constantly giving her money, Xio is always eating out. This can't last for much longer, and I don't know where Xio will be able to go if she gets kicked out of this hospital entirely. And when you listen to Xio in the coming up clips, I don't think she knows either.
I'm outside the facility. This is officially day number 1 that I have been cut off of physical therapy and occupational therapy. You heard it right. Everybody in the comments is always like, my taxpayers are paying for this. My money from my taxes goes to this. I officially now am an Arizonian. Okay, I have Arizona insurance now. And guess what? Arizona insurance, your lovely tax dollars, which by the way, I pay my taxes every year. But now, guess what? They don't want to pay for my physical therapy. Yeah, it's not cute or demure. I've worked my ass off day in and day out. I think I've refused physical therapy maybe once or twice. I know for sure once because of my surgery. I didn't feel like moving afterwards. But I have always shown up for therapy. We have improved so much behind the scenes, things that I don't choose to post because I don't want people all up in my business. The first time I took my first step, I was able to put weight on my drop foot leg, my right leg, and lift my left leg up. The first time I got out of the parallel bars. The first time I was able to stand from my chair. The first time I was able to take steps alone. I took a video of it. And even since then, I've improved. Dude, going on the couch. The first time I sat on the couch, it had been 8-9 months since I've sat on a couch. All these things I've improved. with the help of my physical therapist and my occupational therapist. But no, Arizona State doesn't want to cover for me to recover. I love this. We love this. And it sucks. It sucks ass. I literally woke up today so late. I woke up almost close to 4 p.m. because I knew I wasn't going to have therapy. Today's the first day without therapy. And I can't handle it. Honestly, it kind of feels like I'm just going to be stuck. And I'm like telling myself in my head, like, no, like, I don't know, like, do bed exercises, make sure I get up in my chair every day. But it's like, something's got to give, because there's no way. There's no way. I was on the right track to going home. And now they want to cut this thing that I need so badly.
So after receiving the news that she is no longer going to be receiving support from the insurance companies, Xio decides she's going to go on stream and spout about how disappointed she is in this. And like, I can understand where she's coming from. The fact that she lost this and this is like the one thing that's motivating her, the one thing she has going for her to give her hope that she's going to get out of this situation is now being cut off. Anyone can recognize that would be one of the crappiest days of their life. But as I was making my documentary on Xio, I would constantly think that, this progress that she's going through seems very slow. And at the beginning, I wasn't sure why everything was taking so long. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand all of the procedures and I understand how long it's going to take, but it did seem like it was taking a long time and would be hogging up a whole lot of resources that could be used to better things. But then it slowly started to make more sense to me why things were at such a snail's pace, at least when it came to her recovery. It's because Xio never once, after she left the main hospital, the one where she had her surgeries and was intubated a few times, she didn't follow her diet. She was ordering out every single day and continued to do these food live streams for her crowd. And I understand maybe for her, she thought she was making a whole lot of progress, but when she was getting reviewed by another insurance company, they truly didn't think she was utilizing that service to the best of her ability. And for a lot of people, from an outside perspective, it does seem that way. Now, she says she was going to every appointment. She only refused a couple of times, but I think that's a small part of the problem. I think if they were to ask all of the doctors, all of the nurses, what they were witnessing Xio do when she wasn't having PT, they would probably have to tell the truth and say, hey, look, we see her eating out all of the time. And there was a lot of comments in my last video saying, why is Xio allowed to do this? Why isn't the hospital stopping it? Well, I didn't make myself clear. I guess when I say rehab, it's not like a rehab for her food problem. It was a rehab to help her arm and her leg. They truly didn't have any control over what Xio did or she didn't eat. Whereas they couldn't do anything about it when questioned by an insurance company, was something like this continuing? Is Xio following all the procedures? Is she trying her best to lose weight so we don't have to pay on this for a very long time, over a year more? They probably had to tell the truth and say no, she's not. Xio is faced with a challenge to have to overcome one of her addictions while recovering in bed, having very little to do, very bored, and having a whole lot of access to it. And that's probably really hard to do, especially when you're as bad off as Xio is. But you would think this would be like some sort of wake-up call, like, okay, I now no longer have assistance from the doctors and the nurses to help get my health back in order, but I've got to do as much as I possibly can to do it myself. Like, there's no other option at this point. I've got to get out of the hospital. You think she might want to go see her friends, her family, start living an actual life again, but no, she continues to do what she did last time, and I can only see that she's going to be adding more and more weight upon herself because the physical activity is going to be less. She may be taking steps now, but in all likelihood, it's probably not enough, especially if she continues down the path that she's going.
Today is the first day that I didn't do PT, and I was up in my chair earlier, as you guys know, but this is only day one, and I'm already like, cuckoo, like, I've been sitting here crying because it's not fair. It really isn't. Like, everything that has happened, it has not been fair. But I've been pushing through it. And I've been like, well, let's do this, like, let's recover and let's go home. And now I feel like I'm being punished for what? Because I needed eventually insurance. I've been in the state of Arizona now since May. So, I needed insurance, but insurance is going to cut me. You're basically saying, well, you don't deserve to get better, so let's just keep you obese. I don't know. No, in all seriousness, I'm black. Black? Didn't know that. I'm back to plucking. I'm stupid and it's Sunday. I'm back to plucking. Look at the difference. No joke. And I'm so happy. I wasn't plucking for a while because I only have one hand, but I'm like, hey dude, so I started plucking again, and just look at the difference. Look, I could tell that it's not gonna grow back as fast. That's what happens when I pluck. Anyways, let's get into it. I'm talking about in it. Today is September 17th. I turned 30 in less than a week. I have crossed a bunch of milestones. Today I went outside for the first time. And I don't mean like outside literally. I mean literally out on the street. No, I didn't leave the facility technically. But I saw cars, people, light poles, trees, like, the sun, the earth, the air, It felt good. I think I needed that. And a staff member pushed me around the whole block, which was like crazy. I didn't ask for it. Like, she just did it out of her heart. And I don't know. I also toured the whole place for the first time. I've seen a lot of the units, but I haven't seen like the whole facility. So that was different and cool. My goal when I first got here in May was to be out of here by my 30th, which is next week, which is not gonna happen. And you know what? It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's reality. And I can't completely put myself down for it because I am way more advanced than I was. One thing that we're working on is taking steps again. And we just tried it yesterday. But every time I go to lift my leg, it feels like I'm lifting a mountain, literally. Like, just imagine, like, you're a normal weighing person, I don't know, in the 100s, 200s, maybe even 300s, I don't know. I would keep it at, like, under 300. And just imagine you having surgery. It takes, like, a week for you to recover, a week for you to get back on your feet, start walking, maybe a couple days. Everybody's different. But
the American healthcare system can be, in particularly, pretty brutal sometimes. But when it comes to Xio's treatment, I mean, they could definitely still help her at the very least. And I guess they are by allowing her to continue having treatment. But at the same time, Xio, you really pushed them as far as you possibly could. You pretty much refused to lose weight while you was there, and this is the consequences of your actions. It seems kind of crazy when you hear Xio say that it's just not fair. I don't know why it's happening to me, when we have documented proof of why this is potentially happening to you. And by all means, you could have lost a whole lot of weight in the meantime, and you would be far closer to being able to walk on your own. But instead, it almost took a year for you to pick up even small habits that make yourself feel better. You might not realize it at the time, but if you're hitting small goals throughout your life, or at least throughout the day, you're going to be a far happier person, especially if you're focusing on like your beauty and your health. Like, that just makes you feel better in general. When you're walking around and you still have a beard going on, Xio, I know it doesn't feel good. And that's like leads to your morals, and it leads to lack of motivation, and it leads to falling back on your diet. And this is just compounded on top of everything else that is going on, and you just let it slip right through your fingers. You can say you don't want to be down on yourself and that you're super proud, but even by your own estimate, which sounds kind of insane that you was planning on being in the hospital for a year, by the way you make it sound, like you still needed to be in there and receiving treatment for another year and a half at the very least. That's not progress, or at least that's not what most people would call progress. That's just slowly burning putting it away and waiting till you actually had the motivation to get it done. And in the situation you're currently in, you just didn't have time to do that. And now you're at the point where you have to do it all by yourself. And you have never truly had the willpower to accomplish this all by yourself in general. I don't know how you're going to do it now, but you have to muster the strength. You can't just say it's all right, I'll do better next time. You've got to be actually hard on yourself. You've got to accomplish goals.
I think my hair is growing back in, and it's because I stopped reading your hate comments. Yeah, don't pay attention to it, to the people, because it'll make you lose your hair, okay? Okay. Anyways, guess where I ordered from? I wasn't gonna film, I was just gonna go on live, and I said, nah, I've never ordered from here. This is called Wildflower in Arizona. It says drink happy thoughts. Guess what this is? It looks like lemonade, but it's actually just green tea. I was gonna do the half sandwich, half soup, but they weren't letting me pick the sandwich that I wanted to try with the soup, so I ended up just getting a bowl of soup and a sandwich, a full sandwich. I was gonna get the bread bowl, but I didn't. The bread bowl looked divine. A sourdough bread bowl, don't get me wrong, but I didn't. I got just the bowl. I got the chicken lemon soup, and then I got a grilled cheese. The reason why I got the grilled cheese is because they actually put fillings in their grilled cheese. They put arugula, tomato, and they use like different cheeses like brie, cheddar, and I think mozzarella. I don't know. It looked so good, so that's what I got. Look at the carrot cake that I got. I shouldn't have gotten this, but I did. Look at that carrot cake. Good night. Good night. I haven't had carrot cake in like 10 months, maybe more, a year. My CNA said that it's a good spot too. She just caught me before I went live. Here's the soup, lemon. I could tell it's good. The sandwiches come with house chips. Oops, that looks good. I was gonna get the chicken salad sandwich though. When's the last time I think I had carrot cake in like a year ago. I'm pretty sure it's been a year. Yeah, I remember. I had it in San Diego. All right. I'm nervous. It's sugary, but it's not as sugary as it looked. Maybe something's wrong with my palate. No, it's good. It's good. I love this place. I'm so happy I found this place, really, because I'm going to be getting soup from them all the time. I'm trying to make healthier choices because I did this thing last night. I ordered Jack and the Crack. And, yeah, I was really upset this morning. I woke up like, I got interrupted. But anyways, I'm trying to make healthier choices. Honestly, like, I'm going to tell you something. I hate the fact that I make, obviously, mukbangs. I make videos. But because I'm a person, because I'm not the, typical skinny person that is stuffing their face for money, because it's a fat, obese, it makes it so much 10 times worse for me. So I hate the fact that I have to talk about my, my eating habits, or I have to talk about my weight, or why does everything have to be revolved around weight? Can we ever just eat and feel not guilty? I'm happy right now because I'm not going to feel, besides the cookie, I'm not going to feel guilt at all. And this is the first time I'm eating today. Okay, here it is. The bowl is called the Choparito bowl. Choparito. Comes with chicken, jasmine rice, black beans, and I think it comes with like a pico. And for the first time, I'm trying their jalapeno goat cheese. I'm really excited. Guys, it's so worth the price, I'm telling you. Thank you, God, for this amazing food. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to purchase this food, God. Thank you, God, for all of your blessings. Like, I know the first half of the year has been extremely difficult. God, only you know what I have been through, but I wish and hope and will work for the rest of the year to be better. Let's make better decisions. Let's really just try, okay? All right.
Yep. XioTheDreamer still continues to eat out even after all of that. XioTheDreamer has made a huge habit ever since she's been in the hospital of breaking down over her actions, like losing her mind, crying over and over and over again. And then she says, I'm going to delete the app. I've got to change my life. If I don't do it right now, I don't know what could happen to me. But then, like the next day, she's ordering takeout once again and says, but don't worry, I'm doing it better this time. them, and it's literally XioTheDreamer's cycle. She starts crying, says, I'm gonna delete these apps, deletes the apps, then renews the apps, orders again, and the cycle starts all over. It's like XioTheDreamer doesn't cry because she's embarrassed of herself. It's just that she hates her actions, and to feel better about herself, she has to cry and get it over with so she can just start all over again. It's actually an insane process, and it's actually really sad to see an addict go through this, especially with something like food. We said it in the documentary that having so much access to it when you're a person like Xio has got to be incredibly hard, but you've got no choice at this point. Hard or not, your life is literally on the line, and you're choosing the bad option, the bad ending every single day of your life. If you was to listen to XioTheDreamer when she's talking about her workout programs or her future, there's barely any joy or passion. It's more like baseless words that she just spits out in hopes that people will like appreciate her or feel differently about her. Hell, maybe she's even trying to convince herself, but there's no action behind those words. And I'm not saying that Xio has to be like the most active person in the world, or she has to become like a workoutaholic, but what I am saying is that when it comes to things like that, Xio describes like normal, like she could care less in the world about it. However, if you ever hear Xio describe food, or when she's talking about food or eating, she gets into so much detail, and you can still hear the passion in her voice when it comes to eating. It's her main focus, it's the main thought on her head, and it's all she can seem to think or care about 24/7. She has to figure out a way to break this relationship that she has. She has to stop fantasizing about it so much, glorifying what has completely destroyed her life. Xio almost can accurately predict how long it's been since she's ate certain kind of foods. Like, I can say myself like, oh, I guess it's been a long time since I had that, but I can't say like, oh, it's been like 10 months since I had carrot cake, or oh, it's been 5 weeks since I had a ham sandwich. You know, that's just not something I do. But XioTheDreamer has such a relationship about food. It's all she can really think about. She knows exactly the last time she had a specific meal. When you hear her talk about her childhood, it's never really like fantastic moment she spent with her family. It's like, my family used to cook this amazing dish, or my family used to cook this amazing food, or we used to go out here and eat here. That's all it's ever been for her. But anyhow, guys, that's enough from me today. If XioTheDreamer is watching this, you know, Xio, you've absolutely got to start now. There's no more time to wait. Please get things in order, for you can no longer control this. You've absolutely got to start now. But that's where we're leaving the video off. If you enjoyed it, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, use the new hype feature, comment, and I'll catch you guys next time.